across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs.
When billionaires overstep, the people beneath them start to whisper. And right now, those whispers inside Indiana's front office are growing louder. According to multiple reports, Steve Simon, the billionaire owner of Pacers Sports and Entertainment, is facing quiet resistance from his own executives. Not from fans, not from players, but from the people inside his own building. Sources say it all began after Simon's now infamous Caitlin Clark's team message spread through internal meetings. That phrase quickly became gospel, reshaping everything about how the Indiana Fever were managed. But as Clark's influence grew, frustration also rose among longtime staff who suddenly felt shut out of the decision-making process. They used to ask for our opinions, one insider allegedly said. Now we just follow orders. At first, many assumed it was simply a new direction. But the more Simon pushed his Clark-first vision, the more people began to question whether the Fever were still a basketball team or just a brand built around one star. And that's when the quiet revolt began.
I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year.
For months, people inside Pacers Sports and Entertainment described Steve Simon as laser-focused. But he wasn't focused on player development. He was focused on numbers. How many jerseys sold? How many sponsorships renewed? How much engagement Caitlin Clark generated on social media after every game? Executives who had built their careers around scouting and basketball operations were suddenly spending half their week in marketing briefings. The mood inside the organization was shifting from competition to commercialization. Insiders claimed Simon personally approved new ad campaigns, slogans, and even decided which player interviews made it to the team's official page. One staffer put it bluntly, he's turning a sports franchise into a marketing department. And it worked, at least at first. Profits soared. Clark's popularity exploded. But behind that success, veteran executives began to feel like passengers on a runaway train. They started asking the same question among themselves. How far will Steve go to protect his investment? Things reportedly reached a breaking point during what some now call the marketing mutiny. Next,
millions and millions of dollars of endorsements. She's actually, because she declared to become pro, her endorsements are higher in dollar value. She has a global platform now, not just a U.S. platform. So she's going to do just fine, as will the top players.
Several Pacers executives, including those overseeing sponsorships and branding, allegedly pushed back against Simon's latest directive, a plan internally known as Project Spotlight. The rule was simple and absolute. 80% of all digital ad spending, social content, and brand partnerships had to center around Caitlin Clark. No exceptions, no compromises. One senior staff member reportedly questioned the move, warning that it could alienate the rest of the team. But Simon allegedly cut them off mid-sentence. The Fever are Caitlin Clark, he said. That's the brand. According to insiders, that moment changed everything. People realized they weren't part of a discussion anymore. They were part of a hierarchy. Soon after, internal emails surfaced hinting at a growing rift inside the organization. Words like unsustainable, imbalanced, and dangerous dependency started appearing in messages exchanged between departments.
Caitlin Clark has single-handedly revived the WNBA, and every player needs to thank her. The WNBA has been a losing organization since their first season in 1997. In 27 years, they have lost an average of $10 million per year, and they're projected to lose $50 million.
As any billionaire knows, controlling the message is everything. And when executives stopped echoing his vision, Simon reportedly made a move that shocked everyone. Late this summer, an internal meeting turned tense. Executives from Pacers Sports and Entertainment gathered to review season metrics and public perception. But instead of a pep talk, they got a warning. Multiple sources claim Simon told the room directly, "If you're not aligned, you're replaceable." Within weeks, 2 PR directors and a sponsorship coordinator quietly resigned. No announcements, no press releases, Just sudden LinkedIn updates and moving on posts that left fans scratching their heads. People who had been the backbone of the Fever's resurgence were suddenly gone. One insider claimed they left because basketball had taken a backseat to branding. The tone in the front office shifted overnight. Executives started whispering, "Watch what you say. Every email can be read." The atmosphere reportedly became one of control, not collaboration, and that's when the leaks began. By early fall, podcasters were hinting at a Cold War inside Indiana's ownership group. Small details started leaking through sports gossip channels. Talk of burned-out staff, silenced voices, and meetings that felt more like interrogations than brainstorming sessions. One viral post claimed Simon was running the Fever like a startup, not a team. Another suggested that several Pacers executives were quietly feeding journalists information because they felt powerless to stop him internally. Then fans began connecting the dots. They noticed cryptic tweets and Instagram stories from former staff about respect and balance. One ex-employee even liked a post that said, "Basketball used to come first." There was no direct proof, but the timing was too perfect to ignore. The more the Fever won financially, the more it seemed they were losing something else, their identity.
My main point, like I said, we are in the biggest moment in WNBA history. There's no denying that. Everybody knows that, and everybody that's in a place in power has a true responsibility, and even myself, we have a responsibility to make sure that this game is in a great place going forward with the CBA.
Despite the leaks, despite the criticism, one thing never changed. The money kept flowing. For Steve Simon, results spoke louder than rumors. And by every measurable metric, Caitlin Clark was the most valuable player the Fever, and possibly the entire WNBA, had ever seen. Her jersey sales shattered records. Fever home games sold out months in advance. Corporate sponsors from across the Midwest renewed multi-year deals before the season even ended. Every game she played boosted TV ratings by double digits. Inside Pacers Sports and Entertainment, the financial charts told one story: up and to the right. Executives who tried to warn about burnout or internal backlash were reportedly told, "Look at the numbers. We're winning." That's the paradox of Steve Simon's empire. You can't argue with success even when it's built on silence. As long as the money keeps pouring in, the strategy can't fail. But behind those spreadsheets, another problem was growing, one that money couldn't fix, because for every record broken, morale inside the building was breaking too. And soon, someone from within was ready to challenge Simon directly.
Also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their...
Some say it was Amber Cox. Others believe it was Kelly Krokoff, the longtime front office veteran who helped build the Fever from the ground up. Whoever it was, they reportedly told Simon something no one else dared to say: "You're forgetting the game." If true, that moment didn't go over well. Simon allegedly dismissed the warning and doubled down on his authority. Shortly after, those same executives were reportedly placed under review for alignment. It was the same word that appeared in earlier internal memos: alignment, meaning loyalty to the vision. From that point on, meetings grew shorter, trust thinner, and Simon's circle smaller. Those who stayed learned a hard truth. Silence is job security, but the cost of silence is culture. As one insider put it, you can't build team chemistry when everyone's afraid to speak. By now, the organization feels more like survival mode than collaboration. Communication goes through approved channels only. Departments that once worked side by side now exchange filtered memos instead of ideas. Even the players can feel it. During press conferences, body language looks tense. Questions about the team's direction are met with polite laughter or awkward glances. When ownership influence comes up, one player reportedly muttered, "Next question." Steve Simon, true to form, remains silent. No interviews, no pressers, no denials. The same man who built a billion-dollar mall empire knows one thing better than anyone: silence can be a weapon. Because as long as he doesn't speak, no one can quote him. And as long as the profits stay high, no one above him will intervene. But silence creates a vacuum, and the internet loves to fill it. Now, speculation runs wild. Is the organization fracturing? Are key executives planning to resign after the season? Could the WNBA itself eventually step in? No one knows for sure. But one thing is clear. The Indiana Fever of today feel very different from the team that existed before Caitlin Clark arrived. You can hide boardroom drama behind press releases, but you can't hide energy. And fans feel energy better than anyone. They notice when smiles fade during warm-ups. They notice when players dodge tough questions. They notice when the franchise starts looking more like a PR machine than a basketball team. Online forums are buzzing with speculation. Some fans defend Simon, saying his aggressive business style is exactly what the WNBA needs to grow. Others call it dangerous, a billionaire hijacking a team for personal profit. And somewhere in between are the fans who just want their team back, the one built on chemistry, unity, and that blue-collar Indiana spirit. What's wild is that fans have started doing their own detective work. They analyze interviews frame by frame. They compare press statements. They track every cryptic post from players and staff. The Fever might try to keep things quiet, but the internet never stays quiet for long, and with every new rumor, the same question grows louder. Has the business side finally swallowed the basketball side whole? Here's the truth. Steve Simon isn't just running a basketball team anymore. He's running a brand, one powered by the most marketable player in women's sports. Caitlin Clark, for all her brilliance, now stands at the center of a billion-dollar business experiment. The executives who once helped build that success are now struggling to keep their voices heard. And somewhere in that tension lies the real story, not about wins or losses, but about who controls the narrative. Maybe this is what happens when Jen